The Knicks and Pacers just played game 3, and the Knicks were under a lot of trouble, and this is what happened. Now, I'm not going to be the type of person to say Knicks in 6, even though I really want to say Knicks in 6. I said it before. I'm the one who predicted Knicks in 6, okay? I said that when the series first started. And the truth is, it's one game. And the truth is, the Knicks should have been playing like this every single game. And not just in spurts. And even this game. I mean, they went down by 20 points and they fought back and fought back and fought back. It was a game that I did not think the Knicks were going to win. And mind you, the Knicks were facing a 3-0 deficit. And if they went down 3-0, this series would have been over because there's no way you come back from a 3-0 deficit, especially if you're the New York Knicks. I don't care if you beat the Celtics. I don't care if you pulled multiple 20-point comebacks. I don't care what you've done. You're not pulling a comeback from being down 3-0 because you're going to have to beat this team 4 times in a row, which is damn near impossible, especially for a Knicks team like this, who the first 2 games seemed like they were not able to compete with the Pacers on any level of the game. I mean, okay, I understand it was very close, right? The first game was very competitive, was very close, this, that, and the third, but the Knicks play great in spurts, and that's how it stayed close. The Knicks have not put together a great game for 48 minutes. The Knicks have not performed at a very high level for the entire 48 minutes from the tip all the way to the end of the game. They have not done that. And yes, there's another prime example of the Knicks not doing that. Now, there's a lot of things that kind of went the Knicks' way yesterday, even though they should have benefited the Pacers more. And one of those things were foul trouble. As much calls that the Pacers got and the Knicks did not get and ended up going against the Knicks and went the Pacers' way, like Jalen Brunson having 4 fouls, I think, in the first half, and had to bounce out his last 2 fouls for the whole second half. That is insane. Karl-Anthony Towns having 3 fouls in the first half. That's crazy. And that's another thing, too. Cat had 3 fouls before Jalen Brunson picked up his third and his fourth. And then it's easy to sit Cat down. But then if Jalen Brunson picks up his third in the second quarter, you're like, damn, maybe I should take him out. Well, Thibodeau chose not to take him out. And I guess he was assuming that he could trust Brunson not to pick up his fourth. But facing elimination, I'm not going to lie, if I'm Brunson, it's so hard to just let somebody go past you, even though you know you might pick up your fourth foul. Well, he did. And fortunately for the Knicks, it was only like a minute and 30 seconds left when he picked up his fourth foul. He had to sit down. And the most great thing, the most beneficial thing that happened for the Knicks was Jalen Brunson being in foul trouble because the bench came in and the Knicks put together like a 10-3 run in the last minute and a half of the second quarter. On top of that, in the last 45 seconds of the half, they went on a 5-0 run. And Mikal Bridges was a big part. And he hit a clutch 3 to cut the lead down to 13. Now, going to the second half down 13, you make the game manageable. You stay in it. And that's what the Knicks did. They stayed in it, stayed in it, stayed in it. And then eventually they were able to take the lead. But they managed to stay in striking distance. And this is what the Pacers did to them in game 1, if you remember. Going into the second half, I thought there's 2 things going to happen. Either Tyrese Halliburton is going to take over or Siakam is going to take over. Neither one of those things happened. Halliburton was non-existent. I swear I don't know where his offense went in the second half. It just felt like he had no imprint on the game at all in the second half. And then Siakam was playing like he knew it was supposed to be his time to take over because the Knicks were so focused on Halliburton, but he was like hesitant on taking over the game. And if I'm Siakam or anybody on the Pacers team, you cannot afford to have that from Siakam. The second half, or even in the first half, whenever Halliburton can't get it going because everybody's so focused on him, Siakam is your turn. Because if I'm not mistaken, Siakam is probably the only guy on this team and on the floor, period, like Knicks and Pacers, who has won a championship. And especially that is not a role player that possibly doesn't even get minutes. He actually won a championship, and he played a big role in winning a championship with the Toronto Raptors. So, in moments like this, you need him to come out here and perform. You need him to take over the game because you need him to open up some type of offense and open up some type of chance for Halliburton because the Knicks are going to hone in on Halliburton. The defense is going to be so focused on Halliburton. And now back to the Knicks. And here's the crazy thing: the rebounds, the aggressiveness, the hunger they came out with in the second half was exactly what I expected the Knicks to play like every single game this series. And they have not done it. The way Josh Hart was getting rebounds in the second half, I was like, damn, where was this before? This is the Josh Hart that the Knicks needed the whole time. I mean, he was not standing there looking for rebounds, waiting for them to come to his area. He was actually going in for the rebound. He was jumping in for the rebound, and he took some hard hits while he was going for the rebound. But on the bright side, in the fourth quarter, it ended up turning into free throws, clutch free throws that they needed. Okay, and that's what you need to do. I understand that sometimes that's something you might fear as a player. I don't care how much you say, "Oh, I do this all the time." Da, da, da. It could be something you fear. I understand that. However, you need to do this. You need to be aggressive when you go for rebounds. You need to be super aggressive because they're not coming to you. And the Pacers were playing so much more aggressive than the Knicks in the first two games and the first half of this game. And then after he hit those free throws, Jalen Brunson came back in and iced the game for them. But before that, let's talk about Karl-Anthony Towns. Most of the game, the first three quarters, he had like 4 or 5 points. That fourth quarter, Karl-Anthony Towns put up 20 points that were needed. And they brought Jalen Brunson so much time on the bench. He was able to sit out on the bench. Thibodeau was not panicking. And the greatest thing, again, was foul trouble for the Knicks because the bench played for the Knicks and they performed for the Knicks. I mean, you had McBride, Landry Shamet, you had a couple of other guys come off the bench and they performed. They played so great that when the fourth quarter started, there was a time when it was just Karl-Anthony Towns and the bench. And they went on a run. Every time the bench was in, they went on a run. The bench, I believe, was a plus 12. The whole Knicks team without Jalen Brunson was a plus 12. That's great for them. And hopefully Tom Thibodeau realizes his bench is going to give him a lot of production this series. And he's going to need them. Because Pacers defense is centered all around Jalen Brunson. If you can manage to get your bench in the game and have some fresh bodies on the court to just run around and dive for the ball and do all the stuff that your starters are tired of doing, you are going to win. I promise you're going to win. And again, with Cat, this is exactly what I've been saying. They need to play through Cat more. I know Jalen Brunson is the clutchest player in the league, this, that, and the third. You need Karl-Anthony Towns. You need him locked in. You need him dialed in. You need him in the game at all times. You need him to play. In the fourth quarter, you need him to be that punch. And then Jalen Brunson is going to close it. He's going to ice it. That's it. That's all you need. You don't need Jalen Brunson going downhill every single possession. Jalen Brunson needs to get off the ball sometimes. You need to trust Cat in those situations to give you something. Because honestly, I don't think the Pacers have a response for Karl-Anthony Towns. I mean, he could go to the basket, he could shoot, he could do everything on the court offensively. So I don't think anybody on the Pacers can hold Cat or can limit him or mitigate him. You need to play through Cat sometimes. Sometimes you need to give Cat more shots. I promise you that. And you've seen how aggressive Karl-Anthony Towns was in the fourth quarter. You need this. This is exactly what you need, and it's exactly what you have to focus on. Because the defense, again, is all centered around Jalen Brunson and what he does. If you could get Karl-Anthony Towns to score more and give you more buckets and put him in positions where he has shots at the basket and he could go downhill and then eventually take a couple of threes, that is great for your team. That is probably the biggest thing you need because now they're gonna have to manage to reset their defense around Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. And if they do that, it's even easier for Jalen Brunson. And then again, if they do that, it's easier for everybody else on the team, all the role players, the Bridges, the Josh Harts, to hit their threes, even Anunoby. And then here's the biggest part of it. If I'm the Pacers, I'm not worried because okay, I know a lot of people are gonna say they didn't beat us, we beat ourselves. Nah, they beat ya. But the thing is, same thing happened with the Cavs. I believe they won game 3 and lost 4 and 5. It's so much easier to come out here and plan for game 4 when you're up 2-1 than it is when you're down 1-2. Because what's the worst that can happen for the Pacers? 2-2 when you go to New York tied, knowing that this team is 3 and 5 in the Garden, you're gonna have a chance to beat them. But for the Knicks, on the other hand, you lose, you're down 3-1. So it's so much pressure on you to have to win game 4. But for the Pacers, it's like, of course, you want to defend home court. Of course, you would want to go up 3-1 and go to game 5 and close it in New York. But the reality is, if you lose, you're not in trouble. It's 2-2. The most damage you probably did to yourself is you gave them some type of confidence, and they might come out in game 5 and the role players might perform really, really well because now they are, filled with confidence and they have all the energy in the world because they just beat you 2 times at home, this, that, and third. But you've beat them 2 times at home as well. So, in my opinion, I think it's so much easier to plan when you're up 2-1 for game 4 because all you have to do is make adjustments based off game 3. But the Knicks, they don't know what adjustments to make for game 4. Unless somehow the Pacers come out and play the same way defensively and offensively and there are no adjustments made, then the Knicks are going to win game 4. But if I'm the Pacers, I'm coming out with adjustments. And the Knicks are going to have to adjust on the fly or they're going to go down 3-1. So much pressure on the Knicks. And no matter what they do throughout the game, I'm still adjusting as the Pacers. Another thing that really hurt the Pacers was Nesmith going down. Now, Nesmith going down did hurt the Pacers, but honestly, I don't know how much it would have hurt the Pacers because Brunson was out. I mean, he was really effective against Brunson. In my opinion, I don't think he was effective that much against any other guy on the Knicks. I mean, the bench came in, Deuce McBride, everybody, and the guards that came off the bench, they were scoring. Nesmith went down. Jalen Brunson was still in foul trouble. I mean, it didn't really affect them as much. It might affect them moving forward, but in this game, it didn't really affect them that much. It didn't hurt them. But give me Knicks in 6. Hopefully, they win game 4. If they win game 4, then game 5, I give me the Knicks. Give me the Knicks. I'm sorry. Give me the Knicks. Because honestly, bro, the Knicks should have won game 1. They just didn't play hard enough. I don't think the Knicks should have won game 2. But game 3 was all Knicks. Okay, even though the Pacers were up by 20, give me the Knicks. Game 4, I want to take the Knicks. I think the Knicks unlocked a new level. Something was missing, and they just unlocked it. They got it back. But anyways, thank you so much for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. So we'll talk with E. Safety.